A very good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining me on Word at Noon. My name is Remy Allen. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed the Attorney General of Ondo State, Charles Titiloye, as a member of the Council of Legal Education. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Attorney General, Kola Adeniyi, said the appointment of Charles Titiloye is for a period of 4 years. The Council of Legal Education is the body primarily responsible for the education of persons aspiring to the legal profession in Nigeria. It is the proprietor of the Nigerian Law School and the body that sets up and manages the institution. The statement wished him the best in his new endeavor. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerians who are aggrieved by the outcome of the February 25 and March 18 elections to allow the legal system to run its course. He urged all Nigerians to continue to be confident in the country for better seasons ahead. President Buhari, in his Easter message to Christians, also said he had been guided by the vows he took to keep Nigeria united and prosperous, and counted it as a rare privilege to be elected twice in 2015 and 2019. Describing Easter as a season commemorating the triumph of light over darkness, the president joined Christians in Nigeria and around the world to celebrate Easter, noting that it is a season that reminds everyone that the Almighty can turn an unpleasant situation around for good. He urged Nigerians to recognize Easter as one of renewed hope and a glorious future, adding that Nigerians must continue to be confident and believe strongly in the country for better seasons ahead. The Nasarawa State Police Command has confirmed the kidnapping of a former deputy governor of the state, Professor Onyegwewado. The police public relations officer, Rahman Nansel, in a press statement said Gwewado was whisked away this morning when gunmen broke into his residence in Gwagi village of Wamba local government area of the state. According to the police spokesperson, a search has been initiated by a police tactical team in collaboration with other security personnel to rescue the victim and hurt. The statement called on anyone with useful information that will enable the police to succeed in the rescue operation to contact the command. A survivor of the Rwandan genocide has shared his story, marking 29 years since over 800,000 people were killed in one of the worst massacres since the Second World War. According to him, he had to run from the killers who were neighbors.
Yes, it's a day of reflecting on how, when I was 7 years old, I had to run from the killers who were neighbors who wanted to kill my family because we were just called Tutsi. And during the 100 days, I lived like a wild animal, living in mass graves and watching people of my extended family, including my dad, being killed, and and there was time when I was a slave for the killers, and the time was just to wait till the time they would kill us when they wanted. And yeah, it was the life of it was a miserable life with no food, and every second was a destiny of death. And I know the killers. I know some of the killers were neighbors, and it's all that we reflect on, but we also reflect on how can we prevent that to happen again. It takes different things, but I go back in my village where my mom still lives, and in that village sometimes I wake up and the person I meet first in the morning is the person who I saw making me a slave, or wanting to kill me, or I saw killing my family members. And that's what you wake up to sometimes in the morning. And people here we reflect on all that, but we reflect on actually how can we educate to young people, how can we tell the people who will come after us that they will never do that, something like that again. And that's what I do, and that's what I wake up to do, and that's what the reflection actually means today for us Rwandans who are here trying to think, how can we build a better future for Rwandans and for the world?
Hundreds of thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in against President Emmanuel Macron's pension reform. The controversial reform seeks to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64.
La crise démocratique qui est ouverte par un pouvoir qui veut parler avec personne de rien et qui ne veut pas prendre la seule décision qui lui reste maintenant, qui est le retrait, eh bien, cette crise démocratique peut prendre la tournure d'une crise de régime.
Pourquoi vous tapez tout le monde? Pourquoi?
Aujourd'hui, on est à la 11e journée d'action, il pleut, il y a encore...
Tens of thousands of possible war crimes have been carried out by Russian forces since they invaded Ukraine in February last year. The volume of work facing prosecution is so big, and it could take them decades to bring the perpetrators to court. There are thousands of videos of the alleged atrocities circulating on social media, including one of the execution of an unarmed Ukrainian soldier.
The battle for Bakhmut. It is the longest sustained Russian assault of the war. And in the fight for control of the town and the route to it, both sides have suffered grievously. Neither will divulge any accurate figure of how many have been killed. But in the midst of this savage conflict, there are some horrific crimes being committed, one of which was captured on film. The man in that film was Alexander Matvetsky, and it was alleged that he was executed. The man who was commanding Alexander's unit has this to say.
We were set up in the bushes, which meant it was difficult to keep eyes on each other, difficult to communicate with all the blast and shooting. In a calmer moment, the guys managed to get closer, and that's when they found the two bodies in a tiny trench. We knew they were ours, but we couldn't tell who they were. They had been stripped of their weapon.
The family had been given very little detail on how he had been killed, but then came a video of his execution which attracted worldwide attention. It was seen by his mother, Paraskovia.
Я открыла Facebook, в Фейсбуке и смотрю, Саша, вот этот кадр самый ужасный, вот этот расстрел. И я смотрю и понимаю, как бы это мой сын. И я закричала: Саша! Это был шок. Саша! Также подтвердил и Мишка. Это наш папа. У него была истерика. Это наш папа. Бабушка, это папа. Мама, это папа, как он курит, как он стоит, как он... Это была страшная истерика, это был крик души, это плакал, сильно плакал, просто плакал, рыдал в трубку.
Alexander would become the image of the resistance. His face had been appearing all over social media and even in the artwork on the side of buildings. A week later, President Zelensky presented Alexander's mother with the Golden Star.
Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine, which were Alexander's final words. So who killed him, the inexperienced soldier with an old gun and limited ammunition? That is a question on so many people's lips. Oduayo Sawyer, OSRC News.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria have dropped 5 places in the latest FIFA ranking, moving from 35 to 40. According to the ranking by the World Football Governing Body, the Eagles also dropped in Africa as they are now 6th on the continent. Therefore, they are upset against Nigeria on match day 3 of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers in Abuja. Guinea-Bissau jumped to 113 from 118. The Atlas Lions of Morocco became the first African country to reach the semi-final of the World Cup in Qatar 2022, maintained their position as the continent's #1 team and 11th in the world. Reigning African champions, the Teranga Lions of Senegal, moved to 18th on the global scene and are 2nd in Africa, while Tunisia rose to 28th in the world and 3rd in Africa. The FIFA ranking also saw world champions Argentina back at the summit for the first time in over 6 years. Argentina overtook Brazil at the top after enjoying friendly wins over Panama and Curacao, while their road rivals lost to Morocco. And with that sports story, we conclude what at noon. Thanks so much for watching, and happy Easter.